Alright, you guys, so I have a dilemma. Why is this tree sprouting? Welcome back to Mocha Homestead. We are out in the garden still getting prepped for the spring. If you can hear, the birds are serenading me this morning. And my plan today is to get my apple trees planted, get the rest of the garden cleared out, all of the trash cleaned up, as well as get the rest of these plants that I have planted out today. Because next weekend I will be going to a plant sale. However, it is supposed to be raining all next weekend. So I may not have time to do planting next weekend. So I'm going to try to get as much as I can done today and then go from there. So let me get started. So here is one of the beds that I am planning on putting some things in. I need to add some more carrots and some other herbs and things and a couple of flowers to this bed. And this one will be ready to go for the spring. If you can tell, it's a little bit damp because I watered it last night. And then over here, I planted a bunch of seed. You saw me do that on camera in the last video. I planted some bush beans here and some Swiss chard here and some spinach here. Not sure how long that's going to last, but that's what we planted here. And then I'm going to put some netting or trellising so that these peas can connect to, I don't know if you can see the lines on the camera. I have some lines here that I had old staking for tomatoes that used to be in this bed, but we have since moved the tomatoes. So I need to get that situated today before they start to slump over. So let me get started.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
update on something that I planted teeny tiny. Look at that. It is ginormous. Now I gotta figure out what to do with it because I don't know what that is. So I need to figure that out. I do see several weeds back there, and I want to get them out before I work on this garden and before they take root. But it's so many of them, I'm wondering if I planted that, but I don't think I did. So let me go closer. If you guys can recognize any of that, let me know, because I'm about to pull it all out. Except for, I know that I have an oriental lily here, but I don't know what any of the rest of that is, and it looks like weeds. And so I'm going to get to pulling unless you guys tell me it's something else. Alright, you guys, I am back at it after taking a short break. So I am going to start with planting the trees, and then I will, I think I have half a bed to clean, and then I'm going to do that, and I will finish up with planting some seeds. Here's a look at what we have so far. If you remember, there were a lot of weeds around these beds. There was also a lot of trash. Let me take you closer. So as we walk into the garden, you can see where I have mulched a lot of things. And then, especially right here, I will get the rest of that. I'm planning on moving these T-posts back to stretch the perimeter of the garden anyway. So I will get the rest of that from the other side. I cleaned out this bed. I cleaned out a little bit of this bed before the heat overtook me. Where this pile of irrigation tubing is, there used to be a pile of branches and things from when I cleaned out the raspberry bush. Those are here. I cleaned up a little bit the garden bed over there. I got some of the weeds out of there to give the perennial plants room to grow. I will drop some more seeds for some perennial plants and water that on a different day. My blueberries seem to be doing pretty good. They seem to be flourishing with their new soil. Let's see if I can get you closer. So those are my blueberries. The raspberries are starting to come alive, and as I've cleaned up the weeds, I've realized that I have a rogue raspberry vine here that I want to take and put inside the pot, but that will be after the season ends. There are also some raspberry vines on the side of this pot as well there, that I may also transplant inside of the bucket. I don't want them to grow too far into the ground. What I have left is to clean up all of this area. I did clean up the strawberry area a little bit, but I need to get this here and this in between done as well, so that my strawberries can breathe and start to grow. But yeah, I got a lot done. These potatoes that I planted in another video, if you can tell, these potatoes I need to heal up just a little bit. And then that potato I healed up some, and we still have a little bit over here that is poking out. So that's the progress we got done. So let me go ahead and get these trees planted. It is still a little bit warm, but hopefully as the sun starts to go behind the house, then we won't have those problems. All right, you guys, so I have a dilemma. My original plan was to plant the apple trees in, let's see if you can see it, this pot right here, one of them in here, because this bush died. It's the second time that pink lemon tree has died over the winter, so I'm just gonna give up on growing pink lemons. My lime and my lemon tree did fine in the garage, and this one was sitting right with those, so I'm not sure what happened. It didn't die until right before spring, so that's really, really weird. It just started dropping its leaves all of a sudden right before spring, and then died. So I also was going to plant the second apple tree in this pot. This green pot right here, I had previously planted an elderberry, and it had a couple of leaves on it, but the leaves died off. I scratched the bark a little bit. It wasn't green, and so I thought it died. But look, y'all. Why is this tree sprouting? And I've pulled it a little bit, and these sprouts are attached to the elderberry. So it appears that my elderberry didn't die. Maybe it just went dormant, and that's why it dropped the leaves. But I am going to allow it to do what it does, because I do want elderberry, and I was planning on buying 2 more elderberry plants next weekend at the plant sale. But now I have to figure out where to put this apple tree. Or maybe I can put the apple tree there, move this elderberry temporarily to maybe a grow bag. Let me see. Maybe I can move this elderberry to a grow bag for the time being, until I can get a pot that it will fit. Decisions. Because I don't have another pot that would fit. This apple tree. Let me think about that. Okay, so I think I figured out a solution. I'm going to plant the elderberry in this pot, and then I'm going to plant the tree in those 2 green pots that you see, and then we'll find a bigger pot for the elderberry as it grows. So that's my decision. Let me get it done. Okay, I know my battery is dying, but I wanted you guys to see I dug this up, and it is actually coming from the elderberry, so it is not dead. So I'm going to plant this in that pot that I told you guys about. If you see the roots, it has a ton of roots. So I'm going to go plant this. All right, you guys, my battery is dying, and so I just wanted to tell you what I got done today. Let me turn you around so you can see it. So I was able to get the apple trees planted in those green tubs. I did plant that elderberry in that black tub right next to it. I got this bed cleaned out and mulched. I planted in the 2 large silver beds right there in the middle. And I got the yellow bed cleaned out and mulched. I did get the strawberries planted yesterday. I'm going to mulch those on tomorrow. I did water all of the strawberries in, and they are doing wonderfully. I watered my grapevine, and you guys, I saw grapes on it. I'm gonna have grapes this year. Yay! I'm so excited. I also surprisingly see pears on my pear trees. Now, a couple of them I may have to pick off because they may be too heavy for those little leaves, little limbs. But I do see some pears on there, so those got fertilized. I need to check my peach tree and see if it had anything. It had a lot of blossoms, if you remember from a couple of videos ago, but I don't know if it got fertilized. So we will check that also and see. So I think today was productive. I got all the branches up. I got everything weeded. I got some seeds down. I did not get the plants planted that I want to get planted, but it's fine because they are under a shade cloth in the garden, so they are hardening off, and will be getting planted soon. And then I have another garden bed that I need to clean out. Actually, 1, 2, 3 garden beds that I need to clean out so that those can get planted with plants. So, thank you guys for following along with me. If you like the content, please subscribe, give us a like, or share what you liked in the comments. And until next time, bye.